This is the new film by Catherine Cossini, who made Partir Leaving in 2009, which I know that you'll remember because you are a keen watcher of award ceremonies. Kristen Scott Thomas was in and won the Kermode Award for Best Actress. It was a really, really fine film with her and Sergi Lopez, a sort of portrait of amour fou. This is really interesting melodrama, which begins with a young heroine, Delphine, who is living in rural France and living on a farm and finding the life around her stifling. We then move to Paris. This is in the early 1970s, where whilst walking through the Parisian streets, she comes across a group of women running through a crowd of men, pinching their bottoms and smacking them on the back. And the men are getting sort of outraged and furious about it. And they are a feminist action protest group. And she meets Cécile de France, who is one of the sort of protagonists of this group. Remember, Cécile de France came on the programme. I think it might have been to talk about the Alexandra Aya film, or maybe it was the Jackie Chan. I can't remember. Anyway, she came on the program years ago. A really, really fabulous actress. So anyway, they strike up a relationship which at the beginning is built on friendship and a sort of shared political awakening, that essentially Delphine is discovering that there is whole sort of areas to the world that she didn't know about, which is to do with this kind of cosmopolitan rebellious spirit. She says, "What are you doing?" They say it's women's what fights for women's rights, and she says, "Oh well, tell me about that." And the question is, do you not think that there are things that you can't do because you're a woman? The relationship between her and the character played by Cécile de France, Carol, then obviously turns into something more, and they become romantically involved and fall head over heels in love with each other. But then family duty calls Delphine back to the family farm because something's happened to her father. And the question is, can this newfound relationship manage to survive moving out of cosmopolitan Paris and going back to the farm, where essentially the nature of their relationship, same-sex relationship, is seen as something which is unacceptable. What I liked very much about the film is, firstly, I think from a directorial point of view, it's got a very, very good way of giving the characters enough space to find, their characters on screen, so you believe in the characters completely. You absolutely believe in their, that they are fully rounded people. Second thing is, I really loved the portrayal of early 1970s, political movement. I think that the scenes in which the women's group are arguing and agreeing, and at some point bursting into song, are done really well, because it's quite easy to to turn that stuff into pastiche or parody or something which doesn't look convincing, and I think they do that really well. Third thing is, I think the relationship between the two central characters, between Delphine and Carol, is completely believable in the way in which there is a degree of uncertainty at first, and then it becomes this thing which is really sort of, you absolutely believe in the passion of it. But equally, you can see where the film is moving toward, and there are references to other movies which kind of give you a sense where you're going, so you have this sort of strange bucolic beauty of the countryside, which I think would be more familiar from things like, Jean de Florette and Manon des Sources. And on the other hand, you have this frankness about their relationship, which is not really in the same league as Blue is the Warmest Colour, but has a sort of similar sense to it. And then you watch this relationship play out in a way which is, for my money, was utterly convincing. I know that not everybody has been completely sort of swept away by the film, but in a week in which there were other films that were structurally lacking or seemed to some extent to not have sort of fully developed characters, I found this to be, something that was very rewarding, and I liked it. I liked its gentleness. I liked its comedic touches. I like the fact that it's clearly a very personal work made by a filmmaker telling a story that's important to them. And I thought the whole film told its story in a way which was completely engaging and made dramatic sense, but also had a proper sort of core human heart to it.